It's January, what can you forage? What's left? Well, a few things, a few of the last of the mushrooms, maybe a few velvet shanks, a few winter oysters, possibly a few winter chanterelles, friends of mine still finding. There's other things like ground ivy, and there's nettles. Now nettles are a love or hate thing, they're a Marmite thing, aren't they, nettles? Because what do you associate nettles with? Yes, they do sting you, but there's a lot more to nettles than you might think. First of all, how do they sting you? Well, on the leaves and on the stem, there are little tiny sort of transparent needles, and when they touch your skin, they pump formic acid and histamines into your skin, which swells up into a sort of red lump, which obviously stings at the time, and then later on can be itchy. Now, how do you get rid of a nettle sting? Use a dock leaf, I hear you shout. Well, I used to do that myself, and in my mind, it seemed to work. However, there is actually no scientific evidence that dock leaves do get rid of nettle stings. And I have actually tested this myself. Last summer I made a film where I actually stung myself to try and find out. Now, they do help. And in fact, you can use a dock leaf. You can, instead of just rubbing it on the wound, you can actually pull it out, and there's like a sort of gel, like a sort of balsam-like sap in there, and that's actually a little bit better, and it does soothe it. However, if you actually really want to get rid of the sting, you want to use the leaves of a greater or lesser plantain. Not a banana plant, greater or lesser plantain. They have these small leaves which have a natural antihistamine in them. So you can chew a bit and you can rub it on there, and that will make it go away faster because it's a proper medicine. What else do we know about nettles? Are they edible? Absolutely they are. You can eat the whole plant. You want to only eat them when they're young. Don't eat them when they're old because they're a bit woody. And don't eat them when they're in flower because they become a laxative and your stools may somewhat lack structural integrity as a result. If you want to turn yourself into an indoor muck spreader, then by all means fill your boots. But they are very edible. You can make beer with them. You can make soup with them. You can make your pasta green with them. You can make tea with them. They're incredibly healthy. They've got lots of iron in them and vitamins. So they are quite remarkable. They're not just a weed, you know. Not only that, but they've got medicinal properties. For years, people have used nettles for things like urinary tract and bladder problems, for arthritis. There really is a long list of things they can do. And I know people that drink nettle tea on a regular basis, and they swear by the effects of it. But wait, there's more, because nettle seeds, apparently, when they're dried out, can be used as a stimulant. Now, I did try this myself. I got a big bag of them. I ate quite a lot of them and didn't notice any effects, but some people swear by it. If you're going to use a plant for medicine, I always do say this, do your homework first. Don't just take my word for it. What else do we know about nettles? Well, folklore. Everybody loves a bit of folklore. I love a bit of folklore. Now, in folklore, nettles were associated with Loki, who was the god of mischief, as you may know. Loki had a nettle net. He had a net made out of nettles, and he would use it for lots of nefarious sort of Loki mischievous behaviour. However, there is a shred of truth in this. I'm not sure about the gods. However, you could make a net out of nettles because nettles is used as a fibre. It can be used for sailcloth and most of the things that hemp would be used for. It's so versatile. What else in folklore? Ah, yes. Well, in another area of folklore, have you ever heard of elf arrows? Now, elf arrows were supposed to be little elves shooting arrows at you, which gave you random pain. Other people called it air venom. They had this idea that venom was going through the sky just randomly and was giving people pain. So nettles could protect you against this. So if you see a little tiny sort of Legolas running around in the grass with his sort of blonde hair and his pointy shoes and his pointy ears, firing arrows at you, wave some nettles at him. Just get out. You're on your way, Legolas. We're not having any of that. I've got some nettles. Also, nettles used to grow around fairy houses, apparently, and the nettles would protect you against the fairy magic. Now, I always thought fairies were supposed to be really friendly things, if you believe in fairies, which I've not seen any evidence to actually convince me of that. But if you do, apparently the magic can actually be quite naughty and, well, not about nasty, but you need to be protected from it. You don't need fairy magic with all the other problems we have these days, and nettles will protect you from them. Now, nettles are very easy to recognise. Heart-shaped leaves with the serrated edges. You must have seen them before. Only thing you could really confuse them with, possibly mint, possibly lemon balm, possibly dead nettle, which is a different plant. If you're not sure, just grab it with your hand. If you get stung, that's nettles. Now, a little bit of housekeeping. If you're going to eat something from the wild, be it flora or fauna or mushroom, please be 100% sure before you do, because, you know, I like to give a guide, but I also look in books, I ask friends, I check all sorts of sources, and I try to be sure. You must be sure before you do it because it can go wrong. Nettles, you're amazing. You should be running the country. And there it is. Thank you very much.